Hello, and welcome back to the Research Within podcast. I am so excited to have you here. I am your host, Anna Kay, and I'm really, really grateful that you're joining me for this episode. In this podcast, we'll discover the resources each one of us already has within to create the life of our dreams, filled with success, joy, happiness, love, and so much more. Let's dive into the episode. So, what are we talking about today? Today, we're talking about what actually is failing and coming back home, coming back home to ourselves throughout our life. I love this topic, and I'll explain you a bit why. Okay, so I will start with the failure part, and then we'll go to come back home, and I'll show you how it goes together. I got a message from my tea. I love those little tea bags that have messages. So I got a message from my tea, and I think I want to use this to, uh, yeah, prompt the podcast. So the message was celebrate your successes and failure. Both required great courage. So if you've listened to the last episode before this one, you will know that failures are as important as successes because from them you learn. You actually fail when you don't try anything and then you don't learn, right? But let's move away from that a bit and come back to this quote, celebrate your successes and your failures because both took great courage. So when something does not go out as expected, as planned, or as you would have hoped for, generally comes with a feeling of disappointment, of sadness. If you didn't get the job, if you didn't stay with the person, if you could not get into that new house, whatever that might be. If you something did not happen the way that you expected it to happen, there are two ways to look at this situation. You can either just see it completely as a failure and just do nothing about it and just accept it, and maybe some negative self-talk might come out like, oh my god, I can't believe this turned out like this, it was not supposed to be like that, this is bad, this is wrong, this is not as it should be. First of all, when we go into that direction and we start to label things as bad, wrong, or not as it should be, you're already putting a whole negative spectrum into the whole experience because you're already saying that that experience is not good, is not what you wanted. It is fair that it is not what you wanted, but if you label the experience as something that is completely bad or wrong or not as it should be, then how are you supposed to learn from it? How are you supposed to grow and move forward? So whenever something happens, something bad happens, instead of just directly going to this is bad, this is wrong, I can't believe this is not, why is this happening to me? I offer you a second possibility, a second opportunity of what you can do, what you can think from this experience that was not what you expected. So when something does not go as expected, of course, some feelings might come up. It might be sadness, it might be grief, it might be frustration. So first of all, I will invite you to just let the feelings be, accept them as they are. It is normal to feel disappointed when something does not go the way that we wanted it to go. It is completely normal. It is completely human. And as humans, we have feelings and we have to move through those feelings too. So if feelings come up, feelings come up, yes, when we start working, when something does not go the way we expected. Instead of using our cognitive mind to just say the bad things that happen, to just list all the negatives, instead of just putting a vocabulary, to your experience of this thing that does not go the way you wanted it to go. Let's try to shift it to just feel your emotions first and feel the way that you are. And you can write it out, you can talk it out with someone. I'm so frustrated this happened. I am really sad because I was looking forward to this. I am disappointed that this was not able to turn out the way I wanted it to. So you can give voice to these feelings, or you can just allow them to be with you. And give voice, it can be again writing, it can be talking to someone, recording a voice note to yourself, recording a video to yourself, whatever that might be for you. Just understand the way you're feeling about whatever happened. So that's the first step. The second step, we're not going to go into the blaming, into the experience is bad or wrong. We're going to look at it from another perspective. And we're now going to try to look at it asking the question, how did this experience help me grow? So you're going to ask yourself, how did this experience that I just had, that did not go the way that I wanted it to go, help me grow, help me become a better person, help me be more prepared for when I try to do this again? Yeah. So instead of just, going over the negatives, going over, again, feelings are normal. And the feelings, we do have to acknowledge them. We do have to acknowledge the sadness, the disappointment, the frustration that come when something does not turn out the way we wanted it to. And we will acknowledge it, and we will feel it and write it, and it's okay. It's okay. But then we're going to turn it around. We're going to feel grateful for the experience, because that experience in some way, even if you cannot see it now, even if it's too recent to see it, that experience in some way prepared you to be a better version of yourself, prepared you to grow more, prepared you to actually succeed the next time you try this. Yeah. So let's give an example. Let's give a simple example. Let's say that you have a hard conversation coming up with a friend. You want to share some things with her, with him. You want to tell, I'm going to use a her for my example. You want to share some things with her that are hard, and you want to talk about the relationship because you feel that maybe she's distancing, that maybe something might be off. So there's this hard conversation coming up and you're quite nervous. And you go into the conversation. Yeah. You go in, you have the conversation. At some point, things start to scale up. You say things that maybe might have been hurtful. She does too. And this starts to get out of hand. At some point, you decide to stop the conversation. Yeah. You stop the conversation and you said, okay, we're going to have to come back to this because this is not turning out the way that I want it to. So your friend is angry. You're also not in the best of moods. And you part ways, you go home, she goes home, and you start thinking about the experience that just happened. So instead of directly going into, oh my God, I messed up, I started to talk about this, and just self-blaming and self-doubting everything you did, we're going to skip over the self-blame and self-doubt. And we're going to go to the emotions, to the, oh my God, I'm frustrated, she did not understand me. But then you ask, okay, what can I do next time so she understands me better? And there is your learning opportunity. Okay, so the sadness I was not able to express myself the way that I wanted it to, and I might have hurt her. Okay, next time, how can you prevent yourself from getting all scaled up and into the emotions and avoid actually hurting your friend? So you see how from one experience you can see the things that you did not enjoy, and how in the next opportunity you have, you're going to be better. You're going to perform better. You're just going to learn from it. Yeah. And what I want you to think and to know is really also focus on the good things. So for you to get to that point you actually analyzed what is it that you wanted to talk with your friend. When things scaled up, you stopped the conversation and you asked to continue in another time. And you acknowledge that. You acknowledge that you were able to stop the conversation before it got worse. You acknowledge that you were prepared and you knew what you wanted to say, even if it was not delivered in the best way. So when something happens, when an experience comes up, it is important to acknowledge what things you did great, what things actually went the way you wanted it to, and what things you managed to do the way you wanted to. And then the things that maybe could use some improvement, and the things that you can learn from, and the things that will make you better prepared for the future. And I really want you to consider this, because just rambling about the negative, about how it went wrong, about how it was bad, that's not going to allow you to, in the next time you see your friend, have a proper conversation. It's just going to repeat again. You're going to repeat the pattern. To actually break out from the pattern, to actually succeed the next time, you have to analyze what went good. So I do it again, and what I could have done better so I can improve it next time. Failing is actually not doing this analysis after an experience, not realizing what you did good and what you did that could use some improvement. That, even if the experience did not go the way that you wanted and some emotions came up and some frustrations come up, you acknowledge the frustrations, but then you see what's good, you see what was bad, and you learn from it. Yes, you are going to learn from it, because that's the only way that the next time you have this conversation, you're going to be a better version of yourself. You're going to be better prepared to have it, and you're actually going to have the outcome that you want to have. Yeah. Stop beating yourself up. Stop beating yourself up and blaming yourself, because I'm going to tell you this, and this I know for a fact. You were doing the best that you could with the tools and the learnings that you had in that moment in time. Stop beating yourself up, because you were doing the best that you could with the knowledge you had at that time. You were just doing the best that you could. And I firmly believe that everyone is always doing the best that they can with the knowledge that they have in the moment. And you too, in that experience that you had that brought negative emotions, that you wish it hadn't happened that way, you were doing the best that you could, and I need you to believe that too. With the tools and the knowledge that you have, you were doing the best that you could. Of course, after the experience, you have more tools and more knowledge, and then you can see, oh my God, I did this wrong, blah blah blah, and you start the self blame. But at that moment when it happened, you were doing the best that you could, and then you learn, and then next time you do it, you fail and learn more, or you succeed and you get your outcome. But it's always a matter of just keep going up and keep improving and keep getting better. And you're always going to do the best things that you could for that moment. In that moment in time, with the knowledge that you have, you're always going to do the best thing that you can. And I can assure you that. So don't blame yourself. Whenever something does not go as expected, look at what you did well and look at what could use improvement and learn from that. Become a better person. Work towards yourself. And be ready, because the experience might repeat itself. The experience might repeat itself. And it's up to you if you want to repeat the same pattern again, or if you want to step up and be the person that now is able to see what that older version of you could not see anymore. And here I come to the second topic. You're constantly in evolution, and you're constantly growing, and you're constantly becoming a better person, a better version of yourself. You're learning. If you choose to make the experiences a learning experience, then you're always becoming a better person. So the person you were yesterday is not the person that you're today. The person you were 2 weeks ago, 1 month ago, 1 year ago, it's not the person that you are now. So if at some point you catch yourself thinking, I wish I could be as I was before. I wish I could do this that I could do before, and now I don't want to. Now, of course, you can recover things that you have been able to do and you want to do again. If you want to do again, that's perfect. You can just recover them. You've done it in the past. But don't expect to come back. Let's say, for example, and this is not an example of personality, it's just going to be a simple example. Let's say you played the piano. Let's say you played the piano at some point, and then you stopped. And then you look back and you say, oh my God, I want to play the piano again. And then you start. But the person that's playing the piano now, it's not the same person that was playing the piano 1, 2, 3 years ago. The person that's playing the piano now might have to learn more stuff. The person that's playing the piano now might not even like the same kind of music that the older version did. You know, you're still playing the piano, but the experience of it is going to be different. Because you're not the same. It's impossible. I'm not the same as I was yesterday. Because we're always learning and we're always growing. Even if you go back to something that you were able to do before. Let's say you loved to go out to parties. Even if you go out to parties now, after a period of not doing so, it's not going to be the same. The experience won't be the same. Because you learned, you evolved, and you're just going to see it differently. You're going to experience differently. Maybe your music and taste changed. Your taste in music changed. I switched the words. You know, maybe now you don't like dark places. You like more lights. You know, don't expect to be the same person as you were. You are always going to be a more evolved version of yourself, because we are always learning from the things that do good. So humans learn from the things that perform good, because, you know, it's positive reinforcement. If it's good, then I want to do it again. And then if you put the effort into also learning from the things that did not do so good, then you're also going to learn from that. And you're also going to become a better, improved version of yourself. So whenever you think about you, about your essence, about who you are, include all those versions of you that you were before and the version of you that you are now. It's all you. It's just in different moments of time, with different knowledge, with different experiences, with more evolution. You're growing. Every single second you're growing, you're learning, you're evolving. Allow your failures and your successes to teach you how to be better, how to improve, how to get to a better point in your life, how to get closer. And believe me when I say this, that every experience that you've had in your life is preparing you to have an even better experience. Every experience that you have, every single thing is preparing you for your greatness in the future. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to leave you with this. Use your failures, use your successes, learn from them, and avoid repeating the patterns you don't like. Do the things you do like and you want to keep in your life. But if you see patterns you don't like, learn what do you have to do to get out of them. Yeah? Amazing. I am so grateful that you were here to listen or watch to this episode today. I really hope you enjoyed. I really hope you had some valuable lessons from this podcast today. And if you want to get in touch, if you want to talk, if you want to chat a bit about this topic, you can find my Instagram on the show notes below, and you can just reach out, shoot me a DM. See you. And if you are also willing to find something that might move a bit, shift the energy from just being stuck and looking at the negatives and not being able to move forward and take control of your life, there's the link to my free resource, a guided meditation in where you can move from this stuckness energy, this I don't have control, this is bad, wrong, not as it should be, into a I have control, I can choose to learn and become a better person version. So the Instagram and the free guided meditation are gonna be in the show notes. And I hope I see you here in the next episode. I am so grateful for you. See you soon. Bye bye.